When theatre talks about class, it imagines this, or maybe this, but never this. When it talks about the working class, the colour drains and the roles reduce. The expectation of a working class director is that they cannot imagine a world beyond the working class, or that they replicate what is seen as working class. It's harmful, it's damaging. The idea that class is a catch-all and that all working class artists, directors are only interested in the economic reality of that simply isn't true.
Some things I'd like artistic theatre leaders to have a think on is the main thing is working class artists subsidise their own work and their own careers. They do. They shouldn't. It's really important because actually working class artists want to be in the work. They don't want to be thinking about how much they've had to subsidise their own career or what they've had to sacrifice in order to say yes. Some solutions for that or things to think about. Digs lists. Do you have a digs list? When was it last updated? Is it any good? Would you stay there? Big question. And maybe think about artists' houses. Some things that we've done is get an Airbnb house on a satellite of a venue and put the artists in there. It's much better crack. It's much nicer experience. And normally the standards are much greater and actually cost effective for the theatre. Ching, everybody wins. Wherever possible, pay higher rates of pay. ITC rates of pay for touring are much higher than equity minimums. So wherever possible, try to support your working class artists by paying ITC rates. If you can't give them higher rates of pay, can you support them in other ways? Social tags on the posts, celebrating their work, and wherever possible, might not see that on my scribble, annual salary pro rata. I think it's really important that we start to consider paying working class artists pro rata annual salary, because when they're in that work, they are consumed. They work on it all the time. This doesn't switch off. And I think it's really important and absolutely due. Some solutions, some things to think about.
I've been told by quite a few artistic leaders that I've had meetings with recently that the thing I really need to do right now is just hang in there. Just hang in there, don't give up, it'll be fine if you just don't leave the industry. Eventually you will get work. And I think the one thing I would like artistic leaders to know about class and equity is that if you do not create the opportunities for people to be able to hang in there, it's not a choice that working class people get to make. So please create resources, anything you can, to get people to hang in there, or you will lose working class artists. It's already happening, and it does just feel like it's going to get worse if someone doesn't make some bold decisions to try and change it.
Let me raise a question. When you meet a migrant who speaks fluent English, even though English is not their first language, what do you think is their education level? I would say that is already a sign of good education, but does that automatically mean that they are not working class? Many migrant artists fall into a strange career limbo. We can be too experienced or not experienced enough because our previous experience abroad does not count here. As a result, many migrants end up doing precarious hourly paid physical labor, especially those from non-English speaking countries. During this process, something shifts about class. Whatever a class meant before, background, education, and experience doesn't really transfer. It simply distills into one question. Can you afford to stay here? Not all migrants are working class, but we still need language that can recognize migrant working class experience. Without it, a large part of the theatre workforce will remain invisible.
I think there's so many things I could talk about in a 1-minute video, but I think the main thing I want to talk about is what's stopping working class artists from progressing and keeping a sustainable career in this field is that we are constantly pit up against people that have secret advantages that we don't know about. It's taken me so many years to stop comparing other people's trajectory of success to my own, because I finally realised that they had two things that working class artists don't have: the cushion to fail and the little black book of people and contacts that are consistently helping them move on and continue. I'm not here to complain about those two things, but instead I think in order for us in institutions to combat this, we need to think about what redistributing wealth, power, and access actually looks like. We need to have more radical and bold steps to education. We need to keep different kinds of venues alive in order to give pathways to working class artists. We won't have the same trajectories and entry points that other artists may have. I personally came through queer club culture and queer arts and nightlife venues. We need theatres, institutions, buildings to recognise and look at different places that art comes from, rather than the same boxes and the same people and the same places. Not everything comes from an Oxbridge classroom. Not everybody comes from Edinburgh Fringe. Not everything will look like a play and a script in these ways. And I think we could do more to reshift what we count as the artistic form of theatre and start looking at the different ways that working class people have been contributing to these live performance and art for years and years and years. I think theatre can only stay alive if we stay relevant as an art form. And by staying relevant as an art form, it means broadening our examples of how people are saying different things. Theatre has always been a civic space, and if it's not including working class people, then it is not doing its duty.